So for today's vocabulary, today's article is from Forbes. It's about the importance of meaningful design in the workplace. The key word here, I think, is meaningful design. Not just design, not just functional, meaningful design in the workplace. Let's go to page 2 for the vocabulary. Number 1, in conjunction with. So the word conjunction usually has a kind of meaning that means it's connecting, or you know, two things are related, or has some kind of bond. So, for example, when in the U.S. for some towns, if there's a small road and there's a big highway, to get to the big highway from the small road, sometimes you use the conjunction, which is a kind of road that connects the two, right? So it's sometimes it's a kind of old-fashioned term, but some people still use take the conjunction to get on the highway, meaning take this to connect you to the highway. When something is working in conjunction with something else, that means you have two parties that are working together, and usually they have some kind of relationship that's kind of like a coexisting relationship. You know, they're separate, but they function together sometimes. A great example from this is teachers working in conjunction with students. You can also have a maybe if you have like a university working in conjunction with what would it be? Maybe a research group working in conjunction with a company. Or a research group working in conjunction with maybe a kind of charity or you know, public service. That means that they're working together to basically for the same goal. They just work in different ways. Number 2, interdisciplinary. So when you have a discipline, that means you have a knowledge about something. Like a kind of formal discipline is like basically what you studied, right? So interdisciplinary means that you have two or more fields of knowledge or skills that you can apply. So if if your bachelor's degree was in accounting, but your master's degree was in data management, then you can have you can say that you have an interdisciplinary background that you can apply to your work. Number 3, misfit. Please ignore this meaning. So usually, unless it's for this article, it might be, you know, if something doesn't fit right, then it misfits. But honestly, if something doesn't fit right, then we just say it doesn't fit right. It doesn't fit, or it's a bad fit. However, normally the word misfit is associated with troublemakers. People who want to bother other people or annoy other people. They don't care about the consequences. The best way I can imagine like a misfit or a group of misfits is maybe some high school students who, you know, I'm sure that everybody knows this example. There was like a high school student or a group of high school students that would go smoke and drink and like, you know, curse and break stuff or whatever. That would be a misfit or a group of misfits. It's a kind of expression that came out of, maybe the 1950s, maybe, and you know, was used a lot in the past for people that were just making trouble. Number 4, to curl up is a physical position where you just kind of, you know, sit on the couch or something and you just bring your feet and your legs close to your body. This is a position that you use usually to read a book or watch TV, or to, you know, or maybe if you were just having like a nice conversation with somebody. Sometimes if you have like a pet, like a cat or a dog, your pet might curl up next to you. There's a kind of the position of curling up is you know, usually means that you're getting comfortable. It's almost like the fetal position, which is what a fetus does. And we say that we do that position when we want to be comfortable. So, you know, normally when you associate this word with context, people say like, oh, I'd like to curl up and read a book, then it shows what they like to do comfortably, right? Now, the word curl up to read a book is mostly used by women, to be honest. I don't know why, but you don't really hear guys say, I like to curl up and read a book, because I guess it doesn't sound masculine, maybe? I mean, I guess I don't really curl up my feet and legs close to me to read a book, but I could. See, you even laughed when I said it. So judgmental. Number 5, compelling. When something is compelling, it compels you. Something that compels you is something that is interesting, arousing, and it makes you feel enthusiastic or motivates you or influences you. So now, when something is compelling, it can influence your decision, or you just cannot like stop thinking about it. Like it captures your attention. So now, if you are walking around a department store, and you're walking around with your friend, and your friend says, "Oh, you see that product over there? Have you ever tried one of those before?" And you're like, "No, I don't even know what that is." And then your friend says, "What? Oh my God, you got to try it." Your friend is compelling you to try that product, right? So a lot of salespeople try to be compelling, right? They have to be. They try to get you enthusiastic and want to buy that product, or want to put money in their product or service. Or even, if you go to like any kind of, if you have a certain faith, if you go to any kind of church, the pastor or the preacher or priest, their role is to compel you with their sermon, right? They try to give you a kind of compelling story to keep your faith, or to bring more of your family and friends into their church. Number 6, tick. So there's a lot of ways to use this word tick. This is the verb that means to work well or function well. Actually, normally we use it in an expression. This is actually kind of incomplete. Normally we talk about what makes people tick, as in what influences you or what motivates you to work. So, we might say, let's say for like if you have like a kind of training seminar at work, or if you have an interview, somebody might ask you, what makes you tick? Like, why do you do this work? What is your motivation? So it's basically what makes you work, and obviously the word tick comes from the sound of like a machine or a clock that works very well. It just tick 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 tick, for like a kind of old machine from 100 years ago. So that's where it originally comes from. There's other ways to use the word tick that are not related. You have, for example, if you were talking about the noun, there's a bug called a tick, kind of a very dangerous bug. It gets people very sick. There's also a tick, as in like to check something off, right? Or if you have a nervous tick, then you have a nervous habit. Also, another verb for tick is to be very angry or annoyed. It's actually a kind of polite way to say that I'm pissed off. I'll say I'm ticked off, because pissed off sounds kind of vulgar and rude, but if you say I'm ticked off, then that shows that you're also just as angry. You're just kind of saying it in a more polite way. So depending on who you talk to, if you're talking to your friends, oh man, I'm really pissed off, like I'm really angry. But if you're talking to somebody you work with in a professional environment, or like children, I'm really ticked off about this, I'm really mad about this. So you can use that in that way. Last, number 7, to put forth something, which is to kind of, you're just kind of putting up or proposing an idea or something for another party to consider. You can put forth a proposal, or you can put forth a suggestion for people to think about. And that's our vocabulary.